Ever since Patrick Ewing choked in the 1994 NBA Finals, the Knicks have had their fair share of a North Ewingish road of success, mediocrity, and utter futility. Whether it's them vying for another shot at a championship, not having a top 5 pick from 1986 to 2015, Isaiah Thomas utterly changing Steve franchises and Stephon Marbury's lives forever, costing themselves top picks, the Knicks gutting their roster for a superstar that they could have easily signed in like 6 months, or Phil Jackson going aggro over Kristaps Porzingis for some weird reason. The list goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on for the franchise. But, what if the Knicks actually had a chance to compete for an NBA Finals berth? Something that has eluded the Knicks since Patrick Ewing was in a Knicks jersey. An actual chance of making the finals. As a well-versed basketball fan should be aware of by now, Kyrie Irving, for some dumb reason, doesn't want to be a Celtic and is considered to team up with a disgruntled forward by the name of Jimmy Butler in the Big Apple. They're hoping that Kristaps, Kevin Knox, and whoever they pick in the draft next year, along with whoever they can retain and sign, could potentially compete for an NBA championship. But, one should ask, how can the Knicks possibly do this? For they've been the definition of incompetence for the past decade. How can they clear up the cap space for two-max contracts? Well, that's what we're going to get into today. We're going to see how the New York Knicks can clear up enough cap space to sign 2 stars and build a roster. We're not only going to clear up enough cap space, but we're going to build a competent roster. The best roster that the Knicks could possibly build, in my opinion. The best roster that they could build to maybe perhaps compete for a championship, perhaps even to throw in the Golden State Warriors and do the impossible. First, we got to clear up the cap space. And there's no worse contract. There's arguably no worse contract in the National Basketball Association than Joakim Noah's horrid $19 million deal. In terms of his contract's cap hit and his on-court production, his $19 million contract is outright perverse and is currently weighing the Knicks down hard, especially since he's apparently a hippie now. So, how can the Knicks rid themselves of this aberration? Enter the provision. The stretch, if you don't know what the stretch provision is, the stretch provision basically you can't get rid of a player's contract entirely. You have to have a sort of clause in the contract that enables a team to just completely waive, and I don't think Joakim Noah has that kind of clause. So you can't just simply dump Joakim Noah. You're gonna have to do a little bit more complex, and this may as well be the best solution, because you're probably not gonna be able to trade Joakim Noah without having to trade your top pick and Kevin Knox and Frank Ntilikina. And like I said, I feel like, and why do that? Yeah, why do that when you could just get rid of him? And you could just maximize the amount of cap space by minimizing Joakim Noah's horrid contract by stretching his contract over a few years, in essence dividing his contract by the amount of seasons he spent as a Knick, 3, and minimizing his cap hit from around $19 million to about $6 million. But we can also do the same with apparent 6th Man of the Year in Phil Jackson's eyes, Courtney Lee. And also, by the way, make sure, if I'm the Knicks, I'd make sure that both these guys spend this season as a Knick and then do this in the 2019 NBA offseason so that you can maximize the amount of money that you can spread out, the amount of time that you can spread the contract out. Do the same with Courtney Lee, divide his $12 million contract in essence by 3, and you get around a $4 million cap hit, but that's $8 million less in cap space, and already we've cleared up at about $20 million. We've already cleared up at about $20 million. The Knicks at one point had $110 million. They right now have $110 million. What's Hazonia? According to Spotrac, though, have $110 million in cap space, which is absolutely boorish for a team that's going to be a lottery team this year. And there's also some mans by the name of Lance Thomas. on their roster. Okay, there's this man's name, Lance Thomas, that apparently has a $7 million contract. According to 2K, he has a team option, and that's so... Also, it's not looking like we're going to be able to bring back Enes Kanter on his $18 million. At least what he may want. We may not be able to bring it back on 8 digits, but maybe we could bring it back on 7 digits if he's willing to take a pay cut to maximize the amount of talent in the New York Knicks and give him some leg room. And this will also be even better. And what could also be even better is if the Knicks or if Porzingis accepts the qualifying offer, the $7 million qualifying offer. Because if he doesn't, then Porzingis will have a $24 million contract for the next 4 years. The Knicks signed him on. They locked him up. But if he takes the qualifying offer, that'll just maximize the cap space. In this scenario, he does take the qualifying offer, which is around $7.5 million. And that just gives the Knicks that much more leg room in terms of maximizing the amount of talent around their big three. So with Noah, Thomas, and Lee gone, not bring back some other players. So long to the backcourt of bust, Emmanuel Mudiay and Mario Hezonja. You're trash. Yeah, coming back. We're also gonna have to let go. We're also going to let the GOAT Rod Baker go. And I think maybe, unless Frank Ntilikina will likely end up taking a pretty cheap deal, or he hasn't really done anything special as of yet. But we may have to. But if Kristaps takes the $24 million deal, then we're going to have to get rid of Frank Ntilikina because this cap hit is just a little too much in my opinion. But if Kristaps takes the $7 million qualifying offer, then that would be just a complete blessing for the Knicks. Okay. So basically, with the likes of Noah, Lee, and Thomas gone, and with guys like Mudiay, Hezonja, Trey Burke, Rod Baker, etc. gone, the Knicks have managed to free up enough cap space to sign both Kyrie Irving and Jimmy Butler. Heck yeah, baby. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Also, if you're wondering about Tim Hardaway Jr., yes, he has a pretty bad contract as well, but he will hold us down, and he's actually pretty solid. But anyways. Now that our two lords and saviors are here, basically, let's fill out the rest of the roster. Right now we have on our roster Kyrie, Jimmy Butler, Kristaps Porzingis, Mitchell Robinson, etc. Like I said, if Kristaps takes the qualifying offer, that'll be a complete blessing for the New York Knicks because then they can bring back guys such as Enes Kanter, who he's really loyal to the New York Knicks. He's really loyal to the city of New York, so he might be able to take a 7-figure contract for the sake of giving the New York Knicks as much talent as possible. And I think also they should be able to bring back the likes of Frank Ntilikina and Trey Burke. So if you're counting at home, the Knicks will have a starting lineup of Kyrie Irving, Romeo Langford, who they draft in the 2019 NBA draft. According to Tankathon, the Knicks currently have the 4th best odds at the number 1 overall pick, the 4th pick, and they have them taking Romeo Langford. Who knows what could, like I said, who knows what could really happen in reality, but their starting lineup will probably look something like Kyrie, Langford, Jimmy Butler, Kristaps Porzingis, and Enes Kanter, with their second unit being Trey Burke, Frank Ntilikina, Kevin Knox, Michael Beasley, and Mitchell Robinson. You also got Tim Hardaway Jr. off the bench too. So this Knicks team has a chance for going from scrubby to downright, I'm not gonna say downright frightening, but the Knicks have a chance of becoming a really strong contender because they have a chance of becoming a really strong contender, especially in the Eastern Conference that is still going to be relatively weak, especially since now that Kyrie Irving is a Knick, and Kyrie Irving is perhaps the best player that the Celtics have. which makes this all the more sweeter for Knicks fans because the Knicks fans can actually now compete with the Celtics because since they have Kyrie Irving, they're now more on their level. So as for this roster, how's how I think that they'll do this year? I think this team, once they're able to settle down, I think this team could definitely get over 50 wins, specifically around 53 to 55. It depends upon how this team is willing to work itself out and the chemistry works itself out. But I think this team is definitely capable of getting 53 to 55 wins and certainly being right up there with the Boston Celtics, Milwaukee Bucks, and Philadelphia 76ers. With that said, the playoff series are going to be a coin flip because they got the talent to match. The Sixers trust the process, baby. The Celtics have Brad Stevens, and the Bucks have Giannis. So, I'm full on expecting a mixture of those four teams in the conference semifinals in the 2019 NBA playoffs. So this were to happen. So the chips are going to have to fall in the Knicks' favor, and if they do, then congratulations, New York Knicks. You're going to lose to the Warriors in like 6 games. But if you however, if you miraculously end up facing the Rockets or the Lakers, you may be able to win. Depends on how good the Rockets and Lakers are at that point. But if you end up looking into a finals where you have to face either of them, you could be getting your first championship since 1970. And that's all because you signed Kyrie Irving and Jimmy Butler. And this isn't even factoring the fact that these guys could be around for a couple of years. If the New York Knicks are able to sign Kyrie Irving and Jimmy Butler, and everything goes right, they could get their first chips since the Garden was Eden. And so with that, there you have it. That's how I think the New York Knicks would be able to get 2 superstars like Kyrie Irving and Jimmy Butler on the same team. Sorry about my voice, and I'm sorry if I sound messed up. I've been down with a cold for a while now, and I'm just sorry about that. And I gotta keep going. I don't want to end up screwing up accidentally because I don't want to have any random long pauses for me drinking a bottle of water. And just in general, if you'd like, please subscribe and follow me on Twitter if you want to see more crap like this. I got some nice ideas, and what's likely going to be happening next is a video on how Magic Johnson could have built a much better Lakers team than he has now. It basically, if you're just willing to give my video a passing glance, and if you're willing to check out what I think the New York Knicks, my interpretation of my opinions, maybe you could subscribe and follow me on Twitter, just maybe. Just remember to respect everybody's opinion and don't be afraid to offer up your own proposal. So anyways, have a good night. Bad bye.